Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi. We are here. Running a little bit behind, but we're here today. How's everybody doing today? Yes. Everybody's doing well. We can't put any music on right now, so we're just going to give people a chance to chime in and come in so we can get our conversation started for today. Let us know where you chiming in from, where you watching us from tonight, this afternoon, this evening, this beautiful Saturday evening that it is not raining again, which is great. Yes, so we'll give people a chance to come in while me and Tanya just ran around and what we're going to do. We had a nice setup today. Miss Kia's going to be joining us soon. She had something that she needed to do, some last minute things she had to wrap up, so she'll be joining us in a little bit on StreamYard. But right now it's just me and Tanya right here. So we're going to be getting that stuff together in a little while. Okay, so while you're here, we just want you to just let you know we're here. Okay, so and what we want you to do is, if you have not read the Boaz, this is what we're talking about today, Mr. Boaz. If you have not read that, that's still fine. I ain't gonna say you have time to read it, but that's what we're gonna be talking about today. So we're gonna give everyone enough chance to log in, tag, and share. Let us know where you're coming in from, so we can get this conversation going today. All right, so we'll be right on with you. We'll get some people in. We'll get me something to drink, and so I can get myself ready. You want something to eat? Wait, I'm good. You good? Okay, she's good. So she said she's good. So I guess we can keep these plates up here. What you want to do? We'll take them off? Yeah. Okay, we'll take the plates off, and we just have our drinks up here. And we can talk about what's in the know, get started. So we're a little bit far away today, so we can see both of us in a different, way, other than us being so close together. We can move the table to be a little bit more close together. But I guess the table is okay right here. That's okay right here. Okay. Yeah, we look fine right here. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. I'll be right back. My spiky tea right here. Bouncing off the wall. Yeah, my spiky tea, I be bouncing off the wall. So I think I'm gonna try to be good today. I got an activity I gotta go to later, and I got some paperwork I gotta do later on, so I don't need to be bouncing off too much. You can say as calm as I can. Ooh. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. So of course I gotta move it up again. Gotta get up again. It is Memorial Day weekend, but have everybody has any plans for that? Anybody has any plans for Memorial Weekend? Any cookouts y'all going to the beach, or anything in particular? This stuff is just what's wrong with it? Miss Tony, about ready? Yeah, I guess so. Time to drink something. Hello, I'm good. I'm good. I it is grape juice. Say that.
It's grape. It's grape juice.
No, I can't drink that.
Chameleon. We had chameleon.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess what we can do is start off by saying, welcome to Tanisha Shakir's show. We have our guest with us, Ms. Tanya Bishop Baker. She's with us today. And like I said, Shakir's not here right now. She'll be coming on in a little bit to join us on the StreamYard. She has some things that she needs to take care of today, but she'll be up here in a little bit. We're happy that you're able to join us this evening as we discuss our topic on Mr. Boaz. Did I get preliminary stuff out of the way? We are not therapists. We're not licensed therapists. We're not licensed doctors. We're not licensed clinicians. We are not pastors or preachers. Okay, so we don't have no license, no PhDs, no CNEs or whatever, all these acronyms that come behind these names. These people are graduating this weekend and next weekend with. We're just coming up here giving you our honest opinion, giving you our insight on how we have experienced things in life and how we see things. It's just basically our opinion. We ask you to chime in with us to give us your opinion. We just having a conversation, having this dialogue conversation because it's been something that's been going around and talked about for a while. And I don't think many people really understand the story. They just heard bits and pieces of stuff. So we just want to talk and see what's going on in the mind of people today, just to see what they're talking about, what they think about, Mr. Boaz. That's it. We just want to know what they're thinking about. That's all. So,
and we're not Bible bashers.
No.
Christianity bashers.
No. Thank you.
None of that. But also on that note, it's important to understand that religion and Christianity are made man concepts. Mm-hmm. So the thing of it is, we're just talking about the book of Ruth discussing Boaz because of a post that you saw on Facebook. And so what an African proverb is that until the lion writes his own story, the hunt always glorifies the hunter. Yeah. So that lets you know that anything can be manipulated and changed.
Yes,
and so that is, hence the Bible, but I won't go there today. It's just to show the different concepts and understandings, and to make sure that you research things for yourself. Don't always go by hearsay. Always read and research for yourself. The Bible in 2 Timothy says, study to show thyself approved. So you need to study and research for yourself. So we're just having this conversation due to a post that a pastor put on Facebook regarding Boaz and women. So that's what we're discussing today.
And if you have happened to see this pastor that wrote this post, I'm not bashing anything, but I thought it would be interesting if I would get up here and just give my opinion of what my thought was, because it is a lot of different takes on Boaz. That's it. That's what we took this test. It's just a lot of different takes on Boaz. But what we're saying, you may not get what we're saying. You may get something else out of it. But like I'm saying, there's a whole lot of different takes on Boaz. It's just something to make you say, did you think about it this way, or have you ever thought about it that way? That's all. Okay.
And it's important not to take one concept, one scripture, and just turn it into something that it may not be.
That's right.
You need to read it from the beginning to the end to understand it, because you will get another understanding at the end of the book of Ruth. So we're going to discuss it hopefully in its entirety to make it easier to understand from our point of view.
I know that's right.
And so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please put them in the chat so that we can discuss your feelings as well.
That's right. So I guess what we can do is we can get into it by starting off like how? How are we going to start it off?
I want to be the antagonist in this discussion.
Oh my goodness, so I got to ask a question.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, yes and no. Because when I read it, this is how I read it.
Okay.
And it's short.
Okay.
And we have some giveaways too. I don't want to get too ahead of myself and give out the answers to my giveaways while I'm talking, but there was Naomi, who was married, and she had 2 sons and 2 daughters-in-law, right? Her husband died, her sons died, and so her 2 daughters-in-laws were with her, and she told them that they could go away from her because she couldn't provide for them, right? Okay. So fast forward a little bit to Naomi and Ruth, who went with her, and Boaz. So they found themselves at his barley field, and I guess he showed, I don't want to say favor, but so they could glean in the field so they could have something to eat, right? Okay, fast forward again, we all know that Ruth ended up marrying Boaz and getting pregnant and all of that stuff, but a whole lot happened in between her gleaning in the fields, getting sleeping with Boaz, getting pregnant, and all that. It's a lot that happened in between. So that's the part that we want to discuss.
Okay.
Because I think if we look at it in real lifetimes, a lot of that stuff is happening right now. And you probably could put yourself, men and women,
that's right,
in the story of the book of Ruth.
That's right.
Because a lot of that is happening now. So my thing is, so being the antagonist, I guess I would say, I felt like Naomi was a pimp, and she pimped her daughter-in-law out because she wanted provision, and to live like she was living at first. So, and if you read the book of Ruth, and then back in biblical times, when a husband died, it was the duty of some close kin, a close relative, to marry so that the wife and her family could be provided for. So my question then becomes, who knows who Boaz really was? And the answer to that is Boaz was a close relative of Naomi's husband. So if he was the close relative of Naomi, why didn't Naomi marry Boaz?
Wow, because you know what? She would have been the close. She would have been the close relative. She would have been the close age,
and she would have been the closest relative. The daughter-in-law was not in the kin to him.
No, that's right. That's a good one to get too.
That's why I said, why?
Let me write that down. Why didn't
Naomi marry Boaz?
Right. Naomi married Boaz. Okay, so that's one of yours?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me tell you my take on how I got it. I'm going a little bit further back than Tanya. Okay. Before they even got to that city, Naomi and her husband was from a city. I'm just going to use some names as an example. Naomi and her husband were from Portland.
Oh, you use up to date. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give an up to date so you can say it. I'm gonna do state. Naomi and her husband were from Virginia. Okay, they were originally from Virginia. They got married in Virginia. They had children, and they moved. They had a famine in Virginia came. Their family, her husband, her and her two sons, they moved out of Virginia and moved to Georgia because it was a famine in Virginia. They had no food. So they heard that they got food and prosperity and stuff in Georgia. They're going to Atlanta, Georgia to get to live a better life. So they go to Atlanta, Georgia. So while they're in Atlanta, Georgia, they prospering, they're doing okay. And the two sons married two girls from Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, their hometown originally in Virginia, but they got to Atlanta, Georgia, and they married two girls from Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, everything going fine, everything going lovely. Everything. So what happened? Naomi's husband died. That was probably the sole breadwinner. Okay. Then a couple of years later, they said after the boys had been married 10 years, they died. So now it's Naomi and her two daughter-in-laws by themselves. Okay. Naomi like, okay, I'm going back home. Because, that's what happened in today's life. If things don't go the way we want to or stuff, we get on hard times, we said, look, I'm going back home. I'm going back home. I know I got somebody at home to take care of me. I got some family back home. You know what I'm saying? I get my feet some kind of way. I don't know how, but we're going back home. So Naomi goes back home. She's on her route back home, and her daughter-in-law is like, okay, but we'll go back with you. Now, my take on this, I'm just saying, using it in today's time, is the daughter-in-law says, look, there's some good doggone men that came from Virginia. I'm going back with her. Maybe our family went. You know what I'm saying? That daddy-in-law, he took care of us. Them boys took care of us. We going back with you. You know what I'm saying? We going to find us a man over here somewhere. Because this over here, we know this ain't working. Exactly. We know this over here in Atlanta, Georgia ain't working. Just using it as a state. Okay, we know this ain't working. So they try to go back. One of the daughters went. Both of them tried to go, but one of the daughters pressed and went. The other daughter went back. So when they got back to Virginia, that's when all this stuff started.
Because she told them that she couldn't provide for them, so she told them both to leave her.
That's right.
So one was like, I'm out.
She did.
I'm out.
That's right.
You know, because she had already been in a family. Then she went where she thought it was plentiful and got struck in another family. So when she said they were going at first, and then when she was like, well, I can't provide, so y'all can go ahead. She was like, I'm out.
That's how it is sometimes.
That sounds like some black folk to me.
That's right. When she said, you can't help me, so I ain't got no more kids we can do. Wait for me to have some more children.
Yeah.
She's like, wait a minute, let me think about that.
Right.
So as women, right then, you got to think about what's going on. Think about yourself. I mean, I ain't saying be selfish, but that's what she was doing. She was thinking about, well, how I'm going to take care of myself.
Right.
And then you got to look at it, because we just talking about the story. That was in biblical times. Women were not workers then. Mm-hmm. We just got women rights when.
And like you said, how we're going to take care of ourselves. So, and I guess in my mind, that's when they only said, okay, well, she left. I'm of age. Mm-hmm. And they needed a heir.
That's right.
Because back in those times, you could even if you had land, you could sell your land if you was in poverty, mm-hmm. but you would get the land back. Mm-hmm. And so that's also in the book of Ruth too, mm-hmm. when that the land was sold to Boaz because they were in impoverished times, mm-hmm. and we went to the gate because business was handled outside of the gate. Mm-hmm. So that's when it was like, okay, two things were discussed: the land, mm-hmm. and Ruth. Mm-hmm. Because he wanted to go to the elders to make sure it was okay with them. First, did any of the younger ones, relatives, wanted to marry her? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they said no.
They did. They really
so did. The thing of it is, okay, she would have, even though her land got sold, mm-hmm. she could have got her land back. Mm-hmm. Because the closest relative was not, if you read it, was not Ruth, because Ruth was her daughter-in-law. Mm-hmm. Elimelech was her husband, mm-hmm. and he was Boaz's relative.
He was his first
so husband. It should have been Naomi to marry Boaz. But then she didn't marry. Then it could have been she didn't marry him because she couldn't bring forth a child.
Yeah, that could have been it too.
So it's a lot of ways to look at what happened. That's just in about the second and third chapter. All of that was going on. Mm-hmm. So, it's just a lot of ways to look at it. But like you said, and putting it up to these times, how many times do women see a man
opportunity?
They see an opportunity and they be like, girl, you better, he got it. He got the money, their family got some land, mm-hmm. and they got a little money, so go ahead on and get you a baby or two and get you an heir so that you'll be all right. And then what happens? Here come the mother-in-law coming right on in. So now you taking care of your family, your babies, and your mother-in-law because she picked you out.
Oh Lord. Now this is the part we're gonna get striking. So if y'all got some comments, you need to put them on in because this is the time you need to chime in. So what we're gonna start finding out now, I think I'm gonna check on this and see if we got any comments up here because I don't think we have anything yet. The comments we're gonna start with is with women. The question I want to ask is, when you say who is Boaz, what are you talking about? What are you saying when you say who is Boaz? You're looking for your Boaz. What exactly are you looking for? You know what I'm saying? So that's my question. What exactly are you looking for when you say that? Who are you who are you looking for? Who are you looking for when they say, when women say, I'm looking for my Boaz?
Or a preacher tell you that you should be looking for your Boaz. Who is your Boaz? In your mind, who is your Boaz? Mm-hmm. Or do you even know who Boaz is? Yeah. You're just going by, because a lot of us been in church a long time and you only hear certain parts of the scripture. They, mm-hmm. And it's like anything else. People take certain things out to make it relevant to what they're talking about.
That's right. Uh-huh.
And so when you're saying women should be looking for their Boaz, in your mind, who would be your Boaz?
That's right. But then again,
because Boaz, if you look at that scripture,
he was an old man.
He was an old man. So are you looking for an old man that will kick bucket soon and leave you some money? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's the
or are you looking for, a lifelong partner? Mm-hmm. When you're talking about looking for Boaz, are you looking for love, loyalty? Mm-hmm. When that really is the story supposed to be. Boaz was a loyal, loving man, mm-hmm. and that he was a provider. So are you looking for a provider, or are you looking for somebody that you can got one foot on the banana peel and one in the grave?
But it's true.
And you know what I'm saying? That's got a little bit of money, and if you marry him,
you're gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay. Because also in that book, she went to him in secret.
Yes, she did.
So why was she going to him in secret if it was okay for her to be with that old man and laying at his feet, which in those times meant that she was proposing to him. See, he didn't propose to her. She was laying at his feet, which meant submission and proposal. And so she was leaving.
So we gotta slow down.
Okay.
We gotta slow down. Okay. Y'all catching on, or you getting what we're saying on it? First thing we saying, Tony brought out, and she said that in those days, if we bring it to the modern days now. First of all, who is Boaz to you? When you say looking for a Boaz, do you understand? Don't say Boaz as being the person, because I guess what we're trying to say is people gotta be careful when we be linking things together. I'm looking for my Boaz to do what? Do you know who Boaz was? And you referencing Ruth. That's something totally different.
And you can't leave out Naomi when you're talking about it.
Yeah, you can't leave that out. So we want you to understand how this story came about. People don't know what the story is. All they just saying looking for the Boaz. Boaz in there, if you saying that he a different type of man, he was an old man. What are you looking for? An old man, or are you looking for a provider? Because he don't have to be an old man to be a provider. He don't have to be he still be a good man and don't be old. This man probably like 80 years old, girl probably 20.
Right. Because that was a problem that he didn't want her to be seen coming from his
house. He would mess his reputation up.
Mess his reputation up. And she knew enough not to be seen. She was covered up. So she was hiding. Because so Naomi sending her to this man dressed a certain way and smelling a certain way. So what is that?
That's set up. You know, we just picking it out. That's what it is.
And then when she had the baby, who she named Obed, who did then she gave the baby to make it look like it was Naomi's baby. And who came out of that generation biblically? I mean, I don't, if you subscribe to Christianity in the Bible, that's supposed to be the starting of the lineage of David and Jesus and all of that, right?
That's right.
So, you like I said, you got to read not only just one excerpt from the book of Ruth. You need to really read from the beginning to the end, and to really understand what was going on in that there, because they were from the land of Moab, which that was where Lot was from with his family. And they said no good thing came from Moab, because if you remember, Lot had 2 daughters, and what did his daughters do? They got him drunk and slept with him.
You know what? Hey, you know what? We're gonna break this down to the modern day things. Let me turn this paper. So let's make this modern today. Okay, if we're just going over the discussion, the Bible discussion, in Moab, those girls were about none. I ain't gonna say they were.
It was foreigners.
That's
what the Bible said. They were foreigners, and no good thing came from out of Moab.
Okay,
so it was Moabites.
So as a woman, and you're a good woman, you're supposed to be a good woman. How do you position yourself to find somebody that's going to be the right one for you? That's how we breaking this down. We need to just specify on what we need and stop saying all this other stuff that we don't know what it means. That's my main thing for that. But we need to break this down a little bit more. And we're going to use it in modern times. Like Tony said at the beginning, what are you looking for in a Boaz? Or what you looking for in this man? And not only what you're looking for in this man, how do you think this man going to be able to carry you if the versus that an older man dating a younger woman, or a younger woman dating?
Because when you see that, you're thinking, all she wants, I mean, even in modern times, you see a young girl with an old man, the first thing you think, she just wants his money. And so they say there's nothing new under the sun, right? So if we look at the book of Ruth and we look and fast forward to modern day times, and we see that, we thinking she's only with him because of his money. So that's the thing. We need to be careful when we speak out of our mouths, and be careful and specific with the things that we say we want. Because, okay, say you get a Boaz and you think he has money, and say that, okay, he got this young girl, because some men like young girls. That's the fact of the matter. But what say he okay, he got this young girl, and then he decide, okay, what I'm gonna sell my land. You don't know he sold the land, right? And so you got this old man because you wanted your Boaz, and then you are a widow. You are broken.
Yeah, you broke. That's right.
You broke. And I ain't say the rest, but okay, you wanted Boaz, now you broke. Mm-hmm. So, you just got to be careful what you speak out of your mouth and be specific in what you want. And when somebody telling you, a pastor or anybody saying you need to find your Boaz, if you don't know this story, you really need to look it up and read it and reread it to get some understanding, because maybe that's not what you really want.
That's right. And because basically all we're saying is Boaz was an older man. That's the name of the story with that. So I guess my question would be now, older man versus a younger man. And the things that us women want is if you want an older man to be a provider and what else they do? Well, just the things
that's about all they can
do. Just provide.
I mean, because when you're looking at an older man, what really can he do with a 20-year-old? You 80 and 90 years old. You can't travel a lot. You may get a baby. Slim, but some men can produce weight.
Yeah, you're right.
So you get an older man. What are you looking for that older man to do for you? Because if you want to travel, you want to have kids, and say you got kids or whatever the case may be, and then you got to go to PTA meetings. That old man not going to be going to PTA meetings, the ball games, and sitting out at the football game with you.
He's not,
because he's old. He's not going to be physically able to keep up with a 20-year-old. So the question becomes: is a Boaz what you really want?
That's a good question. And see, that's the thing. It's an older man what you really want. So let's take the Boaz out. So there's an older man that is the thing that we trying to figure out. People trying to figure out they want a younger man or an older man. So the older man versus the younger man. We're looking for somebody to be a provider, because that's what Ruth was looking for. She needed help.
She needed help. She needed help.
She needed help. That was her thing. She needed help. They were homeless. I ain't say they were homeless, but they were.
They was homeless. They was hungry.
That's why she went and worked in the field.
That's why she was in the field.
She was working in the field.
And they were allowing her to fill their baskets up more than other people to make sure that they had provisions.
That's right.
And I don't think he was doing it from a standpoint of him looking at Ruth. Mm-hmm. I think he was doing it from the standpoint of this was Naomi's husband. That was his kin.
But before that, he didn't know, because he asked the man, who was this young lady out there?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He asked about the young lady.
Yeah.
He knew who Naomi was.
He knew who Naomi was,
right.
But he asked about the young lady. And when he asked about the young lady, the fame had already came through the town that she brought her daughter-in-law back and she's working. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times people say, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to find my boy, so I'm going to help him build. You don't need to help Boaz build. You don't need to help the man that's coming into your life to build. Because guess what? If he's a provider, Boaz, that man had a fill of people working for him. What the first she came in there to do?
She came to do.
Getting the she was getting the leftovers that the people was out there working in. They was out there working. He had paid people out there working, but they were gonna pay then,
Right.
But I don't know if they were paid or not, how they were. They probably were. Mm-hmm. They was out there gleaning the fields and cleaning the fields up. And he let her come in there and get some of the leftovers they had left over. So she didn't add nothing too much to him, but other than a child.
Well, see, this is the thing. So you left. You running back and forth from town to town because you're homeless and you're hungry, right? So he is letting you glean in the fields and fill your baskets up more than anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're not hungry no more, right? You're working. He's providing provisions for you to eat. So now you just need to find somewhere to stay. Right? Mm-hmm. So if you're working, like say, he had been paying him something. Somebody had been,
Yeah.
So
I don't think they said where they were staying at. Where were they staying?
Right. Exactly. So why was there a need for her to marry? Why was there a need for Ruth to marry Boaz?
I think probably for security, so they can make sure that they'll be straight. They back.
But she could have got her husband's land back.
But she couldn't have it by herself because she couldn't own it. I don't think they could have owned that. You think they could have owned it?
Maybe they couldn't, but if she would have married him, she still could have got it back.
Oh yeah, if she would have murdered herself.
So why was there again a need for? So I'm just being the antagonist. I'm just,
I'm trying to get it, beginning.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, it is something to think about. Because that is a good thing right there to say why she just didn't murder man herself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So that's what the question becomes. And so you can't, when you get to the end and you say she had the baby and Obed and all that's when the genealogy of Jesus starts, right? So is that what we really get into? Is this where, and I hope I'm not upsetting no Christian folk, but my question becomes, okay, this is when the genealogy of Jesus starts. So is this how we introducing him to go into the New Testament? So is this why this story was created?
I think, you know what?
Because this is the start of his genealogy right here in the book of Ruth.
I think basically it was, because I was looking up on the commentary, it was saying basically it was it's a love story.
Supposedly. But who was in this whole book of Ruth, who was in love? Because I ain't read nothing about Ruth saying she loved Boaz. She said she loved her mother-in-law would go where she went, right?
We got to tie this into this relationship thing to get this in right here. But we got a whole bunch on right here.
So she didn't marry him for love.
No, she didn't.
She married him for provisions.
Yes.
Money.
So that's the question. When we out here dating or what we're doing in life, what is your purpose? Why are you dating this man? Or why are you dating this woman?
Because
I don't see no comments, no nothing. I know somebody see me up here saying something. Yeah. I don't understand.
Because when she slept with him, he died. So is that the Boaz you're looking for? As soon as you sleep with him, y'all consummate y'all marriage and he kicked the bucket? So, is that what you're looking for? Because okay, she slept with him one time. In the story, it says she got pregnant, right? So that gave them the heir to all that he had and the heir to what was sold, I guess.
Yes. So the son can have it.
So that baby could have it, right? But then the question becomes, is he an actual blood heir? If you look at Boaz, okay, you can say that. But if you really look at it, Ruth was not a blood in that bloodline whatsoever.
No, she wasn't. She really wasn't. And let me say this, maybe I can tie this in a little bit. All right. Tanya gave us a biblical standpoint on it. So I'm going to break it down this part of my thing. Okay. With Ruth, which was the daughter-in-law, when she came to the new country that her mother-in-law, her father-in-law, and her husband was from, they was looking for work. They didn't have nowhere to stay. So they were looking for work, or she was looking for work. So she told her mother-in-law, I'm going to look and find me some job so I can, maybe somebody have favor on me and let me go and get some scraps or something so we can eat. So she's in the field and she finds a field, because that's what they did back then. It's like a garden or whatever. We go work up here at this garden. And I'm going to bring some food back so we have some food to eat. Okay? So that's what she did. She worked at the garden, so they bought barley and wheat or whatever they had that was growing in that field and to eat. So during the whole time, by her being a foreigner, they're not going to let her get as much as the people that actually live in that town. So you ain't going to get more than somebody else. So whatever they ain't get, you can just get the leftovers that they left. So how Boaz came in the picture is, Boaz is rich. He got fields over here. He got fields, in all these different cities. So he's out riding, checking on his stuff. Just like if a contractor at the houses, he's checking on contracting stuff over there. They got stuff going here and everywhere. Same thing like with these people that sell watermelons or what are they doing? They got stuff everywhere. So they checking on their stuff. So if you paying somebody to do something that work for you, Mind, of course, you know who on your payroll. So he looking out there and said, wait, who is this girl over here? You know what I'm saying? They said, oh yeah, this is the girl that came into town with Naomi, which is a kid. You said, oh, this is my relative too. So of course, this man had a good heart. He wasn't looking at that girl like that. I really don't think so, because
he never said anything about her.
He never said, all he
said was, who is she?
That's it.
But Naomi put all of this into play.
She did.
So she saw him looking and inquiring about her, not for, I don't think, romantic plans or anything like that.
But she played on
his
heart.
Boom.
Yeah.
This is how we can get what we need.
Because
and how often does that happen? Mm-hmm. Where you have a mother that, or a mother that is trying to set her daughter up. And you dress her up. To me, that's, and I keep saying, and I'm saying it jokingly, but, you dress her up to play the part, you make her look good and smell good for this man. And that's what she did and sent her into him. So what she did was she put this thing into play. And that's why she had to go to him so many times, because he was not seeing her like that. But, and every time she went and came back and nothing happened, they would send her right back. So she put this whole thing into play. And that happens way too often. Men get caught up because of who was sent to them, because we all know.
And that's how we're going to break it down. We're trying to break it down so we can understand it. Okay, let's go.
We all know what, man weakness is sometimes, and so, you got a young pretty girl, it's looking good, smelling good, and she's positioning herself to be with you in an intimate way, but he wasn't, that's not where his head was at, or his mindset was. And she kept coming, and he knew that, okay, she's been submissive to me, laying his feet, uncovering his feet, and all of that, and then till, fast forward, he ended up sleeping with her, getting her pregnant, and he dies. So she said, so now Naomi, the baby, and Ruth set up for life.
Yeah, it is. But just like I said, we go back so we can get it in, because even though we telling it and we doing, they ain't getting it. I don't think a lot of people not grasping it. You know what I'm saying?
They get it. They getting it.
She said they get it.
They might not want to act like they get it. She said they get it, because when you look at a person being in church all their life and hearing stuff one way, and sometimes they don't want to accept the challenge or the truth, or hearing it from a different perspective. And so I guess it can be challenging sometimes. That they don't. I don't believe that. That ain't what my pastor said. But you have to understand that a pastor, which leads into these church hurts, a pastor is human too. He is not a pastor. His job is a pastor. He is still a man or a woman of the cloth. He's still human. So, don't look at, and I think that's how a lot of sometimes pastors get caught up, because you're putting them on this pedestal and this God-like realm, and they are just bringing a message. They went to school for this. Just like if I went to school to be a doctor or a psychologist, that's my job.
That's right.
That doesn't make me any better than anybody else.
And
I'm still human.
When you finish that, you back to your own
person. I'm still who I am.
That's right.
This is my job. This is my title. So I think when we look at church and pastors and all this stuff, we seem to sometimes put people on these pedestals, and everything that come out of their mouth is right. It's true, right, and exact. And not saying that it's not, but I'm just saying read it for yourself and look at it from a different perspective.
It is. That's right. That's absolutely correct. So basically, if we look at this and tie this in with church hurt, it could be the same thing, just like when Ruth went out into the field and she gleaned and Boaz saw her. Sometimes people have a compassion because they want to do the right thing by you. Not that they want to be any more about, in that. He wanted to do the right thing by her. And I think
that's what his mentality was.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted to do, the right, because it says he wanted to do the right thing by her to make sure that they had enough.
That's right.
So I don't think he had any romantic feelings towards Ruth. But, you keep coming to,
Yeah, He gonna wake up sometime.
You gonna wake up sometimes. So you keep coming. So but I think what his mindset was, and the mindset of Naomi was totally different. Mm-hmm. And I think Ruth got caught up and wanted to please her mother-in-law and wanted to make sure that her and her mother-in-law had enough. So I'll do what she's the older woman. She's my mother. I love her. So she's not gonna tell me to do anything wrong. So she's sending me to this man. So she got to be sending me. It must be okay. It must be okay. In her mind, it could have been, because young people look at older people as knowing best. Right. But if that was the case, she wouldn't have been going to him and leaving him in secret, so nobody else would find out. So anything that you have to do in secret, you may need to look at how that is too, how that's playing out, because anything you got to be doing in secret can't be all right. So if you get going to somebody's house and can't nobody see you going there, saying can't nobody see you leaving, then you need to ask yourself, why am I going? What's really going on?
That's right. What's the motive behind it anyway?
What's the agenda behind it?
What's the motive behind it? What's the motive behind all this stuff? So, like I said, in reality, once Boaz was trying to help her, and like Tanya said in the story, once he was trying to help her, and she went back and told Naomi all the things that was going on, her mother-in-law still was pushing her. Consistently pushing her. So if I use that in the terms today, okay, what is more important? It's more important that you do what you have to do, or do what you think you need to do to get to where you need to be at. And that can be a catch for some women and men, especially for men. And I don't know if we're taking Boaz's side today. You think we're taking Boaz's side today?
I think I'm taking Boaz and Ruth's side. I think I'm being understanding towards Ruth because she's a young girl, and she's being sent because she felt like her mother-in-law is older and she knows better. So it's almost like she felt obligated to make Naomi happy, and so she did because you're going to this man, you're coming back. Of course, you're discussing with her what's going on, and she's still sending you back. So are you happy with that? You better keep going. Go ahead, go back. He'll give in sooner or later. And to me, that's what it was. So I think sometimes, young girls and boys can be put in places where they feel obligated to do certain things. Because if you want to speed up to the daytime, that's like a girl getting pregnant by a guy that was kind of like made to be together, right? Okay, and they're not married. And then now, after the baby is, after the woman is pregnant, then you hear all the noise when you need to go ahead and marry her. Yeah. You need to marry her. You don't want the baby to be born a bastard or whatever the case may be. Then you get in this relationship, this put together relationship, and it don't work. All because it was put together because of something that, maybe y'all didn't decide to, but you was, okay, go ahead on over there because, he got this, and he'll work. He's a good person. He gonna make sure that the baby's straight, and and then you get married and you in there, you locked in. But then what happens when it don't work? So now you the bad guy because you was trying to do the right thing, like Boaz. Are you the bad guy? So let's put another spin on this story. What would have happened if Boaz didn't die?
Yeah, because that's a good one too. And the reason why I said that's a good one is because just because you gotta think this happened. You got this older man, you date this older man, and say that I'm married to an older man. And I gotta look at it. At a certain point in time, he ain't gonna be able to walk a long ways. And like you said, I like to travel and do something. He gonna be tired. I don't feel like watching. You go ahead and go.
And they ain't have no cars back then.
Yeah, no, I haven't read, but we're gonna use the modern day. He ain't gonna feel like going nowhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I like to go to the beach and stuff. It's too hot out here. You know what I'm saying? My arthritis acting up. Man, come on. Then you can't say this day and time if he gets sick, because we get sick early young too. You know what I'm saying? And the age get on him, he gets sick. Am I gonna be able to sit right there all the time? No, I want to go out. I want to do this or whatever.
But I got this old man.
And I got this old man
that you didn't marry for love anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you married for love, you'll be there.
He'll be there.
But if he didn't, so what if he didn't die?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she got pregnant. He didn't die. Mm-hmm. So now where's Naomi left? Because she's not obligated to take care of Naomi at this point. Because see, the thing of it is, he was some kin to Naomi's husband. Mm-hmm. He was not any kin to Ruth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
So even though, well, I'm gonna say maybe he was Elimelech, what's his name? Elimelech's, let me pronounce it right. Let me get it right. Elimelech's, let's say that was his brother.
I thought it was his first cousin.
Okay, it was his first cousin, right? So this is his first cousin, which would have made more sense if he would have married Naomi. Mm-hmm. And Naomi would have been straight, and Ruth would have been straight, right? Mm-hmm. If he had lived, right? Mm-hmm. They would go. But if he had lived marrying Ruth, like he did, he married Ruth. Now, what if he would have lived? Because now he doesn't have an obligation to Naomi anymore.
No, he really doesn't. Because
she would have been invested. So she would have going back home again, right?
But you know what? Like you said, sometimes I think we can pull this in a different way too, because just to give a retrospective. Sometimes we were bringing it at church hurt series. Sometimes we get in situations that we don't totally understand. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Things happen, things go on. We do certain things because of whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We could just hypothetically say like this on a church hurt, or just give a scenario. You dating, hypothetically saying, mm-hmm. you messing around with the pastor at church. Mm-hmm. Okay? And oops, you got pregnant. Okay? The pastor married. Okay? And you messing around with the pastor and you got pregnant by the pastor. Okay. Both of y'all grown, but it's a messed up situation. That's how you put it. Whatever you think it is, or have you put your own story to, the situation messed up. Mm-hmm. Now, what you gonna do about that situation? It's a child that came out of this situation.
Exactly.
Those things that happen in church hurt. So everybody talking about you got pregnant by the pastor, and
they look at the woman though.
That's what I'm saying.
They look at the woman as being wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Well, let me finish. Mm-hmm. They bringing you down there. You hurt with all this, but your child is in the middle of it. You see what I'm saying? So how did they fix that? So then the child grows up and he be a better person. He does all these different things, and he's the best thing that ever happened to you as a mom. Mm-hmm. But you got to look at that past history that child got. Mm-hmm. But we all come here mm-hmm. from something, some mm-hmm. kind of way. Mm-hmm. Whatever the situation is, whether it's a birth that's illegitimate, out of wedlock,
planned, unplanned, it's that sad, and so like I said, a child now is involved. So what happens now? Because the first thing they want to do is give this woman a bunch of grief and put her out of church mm-hmm. and call her all sorts of whatever
and keep the pastor there
and keep the pastor there because you have put him up so higher, so you're making it look like she went after him mm-hmm. and he slipped. So you don't want to make him accountable for his part in what happened, because who's to say how long it's been going on? He ain't slipped that many times.
No, but then
it was intentional.
Yeah, and then you got to understand too. She, even if I don't care how drunk or whatever a man is, if he got to put his stuff in you, even if you sit on him and they get in there some kind of way, he know you there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But see, you got to come up with a story to go on. You got to come up with a story to go on with. But it's just, when you're dealing with church and church folk and what they subscribe to biblically and how they put stuff, you just got to be careful. You just got to be careful because, like I said, if you don't tell your own story for yourself, then the story is going to always glorify the one that wrote it or mm-hmm. told it. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is stuff need to be looked at on all sides mm-hmm. of the aisle, not just coming from one person's perspective. So, and things can be worked out, like that scenario right there. This baby's involved. No, you don't have to love me, but my child is involved now. So
And
what
it's
are we going
you
to
for being who you are to the child?
Exactly. So
Definitely.
when you look at stuff like this, you just got to be careful, men and women. You just have to be careful what you subscribe to when it comes to looking for a Boaz, when it comes to looking for a provider. What are you looking for in a man? Not just Boaz. What are you looking for in a man? And not to get caught up, and men not to get caught up in certain situations because it was easy for you to do. And then you can bring a whole generation of trauma behind something that somebody else put together.
Yeah.
So just be careful. But this is a very interesting book to read. So I encourage everybody to read it.
It is very interesting. I think the conversations that we had last week, we were jumped off on it so hard. But once we start really breaking it down and looking at it, it's so many different ways. Sometimes we can have conversations, and we can have conversations. You can be saying something and be hitting me dead in my chest, but it's not intentional. You're not bringing it at me like that. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, it's real. People go through different things. It's not like it's not something nobody has been through. And that makes a lot of church hurt, a lot of things that people cannot grasp difficult. I'm not gonna say I had Boaz, I had no Boaz, but not even talking about Boaz anymore, just talking about relationships and church hurt. Boaz was a thing we pulled in when we talked about that. But the church hurt, I can say I had my son when I was 18. I got pregnant with my son when I was a senior in high school. And my son's dad wasn't the come up of a person that I would have dated. Not saying he was a bad person, he didn't come from a good family or whatever like that, but he wasn't the person that I thought that I would, my dream guy for high school or, my years. I was out one night, I was having fun, I got hooked up with him. That's just it. They don't make him a bad person.
And it happened.
They don't make me a bad person. That's just what happened. You see what I'm saying? So what happened in that is, by me being in church, people was like, but you got to come to the front and apologize.
But see, stop. And so let's stop right there. You were out one night, having fun, you got hooked up. But and you were a senior in high school. And let's tie that into the church too. A lot of times we are so bound by church rules and church people, even in our home. What you want? You going to church every Sunday, you sit on the morning bench, you going to Sunday school, you going to church 7 days a week. So when you got that little bit of freedom,
you gonna take
what did you do?
Girl, I tried to do it all in one
night. Yeah.
Try to do it all in one weekend. I said, you better get in trouble. You better do it big.
And see, and it's funny, and because I can relate. Now, I had my daughter when I was 18, and I had just graduated, and I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't do nothing. It was just, you got those reins, and boys get caught up in this too.
Yes.
You can't do this, and you can't do that, and you can't go over there, and you can't. So you're restricting me so much that when I get out there, when I get loose, that's it. I'm off and running. Ain't no turning back. So that summer, after I graduated that summer, okay, I'm going to go in the military. I got to really have my fun because, I know I'm going to get picked up. I got to go in August. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? So in between July and August, I got pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And so I knew it. I'm like, oh, God, what do I do now? Because mine wasn't a thing worrying about what the church was going to say. I had to tell my mama.
Yes, I know this.
And that could be worse than the church, And so what I did was I left. I left it. I like want that going on. I just played the part, and I got caught up at boot camp.
Oh wow!
So that's even worse because now I still got to come home. So I'm trying to buy me some time. Can y'all get a plane to get somewhere else? Because I got to go. I still got to go home, and I caught hell when I got home. Wow. So it wasn't. And see, that's another thing. When you are held by other people's restrictions and belief systems, you can make things a whole lot worse because what that child is going to do, if you, and I see this all the time with people in church, especially holiness churches, where you can't do anything. You can't wear pants, you can't wear your hair, you can't wear red lipstick, you just can't, everything's can't. You can't. And so when that person, boy, male or female, get out and somebody's it's going down, it's going down.
Mm-hmm.
And so they ain't think about church, they ain't think about no restrictions. They just gonna get out there and have fun because they were never able to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
so
don't
they
let them
should
bring
get
them
caught up.
in the church, but bring them to church like, whoa, what? No.
Where'd you get him from?
I know that's right.
So if you can't please, sometimes you just can't please folk.
You can't.
And sometimes church can
Sometimes
be.
you can't. You can't please folks anyway.
But which gives me the segue to this. With the church and the judging, what does the Bible say in Matthew 7? And I got that tattooed on my arm. Judge not, lest ye be judged first, and by the same measure you shall be judged.
That's right, same thing.
So why is it that the person that's preaching this to you, judging you? Well, that's what happens.
Right. And it's awkward. But
that's what they living by. They subscribing. Now I'm going to play the devil's advocate again. But they subscribing to the Bible, right? So what is it that you pick and choose what you want? See, that's the thing. So do you pick and choose what you want people to follow you? See, when like Malcolm X said, who controls the media controls the mind. Mm-hmm. So the same thing in the church, right? So who controls the scripture? Because you're not gonna research it. You just going by what the pastor say. Mm-hmm. So if he giving you these bits and pieces because this is what he wants you to believe, and you never look and research it for yourself, studying it for yourself, you'll never know. Mm-hmm. So if you've been hurt by church because you judge me because I got pregnant out of wedlock and I got to apologize for what? See, I got a lot of beans growing up. Because I was that person that I needed some understanding. Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna get a beating anyway. But just give me some understanding first. So I probably would have been that girl going to church and do what? And because I started, he doing X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? Because
I ain't had hit on that. All y'all babies by the same day, so I got to be a partner.
And look at the pastor and brother. All them look like.
All of them saying that.
Could be.
I don't know.
But the thing about it is you look at people because you look at families and women been married for years. Mm-hmm. And maybe all of her children don't belong to her husband.
That's right.
So what makes you in a different, now you got a big hat on and you sit in church, that makes it okay?
But you know what, that is the funny thing is if you look past those, generational of things, those women, back in the days, let's be just real honest and break down this thing. Those older women back then were some of the biggest hoes you ever seen in your life.
And the reason why they ain't hoes no more, because they can't.
I ain't joking.
Well, I know it. And I'm saying, now you sitting in church, and the reason why you ain't doing it no more because you can't do it no more.
Man, I
don't know. And so now they sitting and judging you, and it also says don't sit and see the judgment. And so all these things that you are preaching and quoting chapter and verse are the very same thing that you're doing to other people.
Yes.
So what happens is you make people not want to come to church.
That's right. You're right.
So
and that's a bad thing when they don't want to come because you there judging everything they say and everything
they do. So it's you just got to be careful. You just got to be careful who you listen to, and always read. Don't just take what a person says to you at face value, because it's important that you understand for yourself, and not just get somebody else's understanding or their version of what it is they want you to believe or understand.
That's it.
So it's just like don't do as I say, not as I do. So he's telling you don't commit adultery, but he going home and calling his sneaker link. I'm on the phone.
So it's easy said than done, right? Because everybody's temptation is different. That temptation can jump on you can be a whole lot different than what they're preaching about or what they're talking about all the time. I mean, this is the same thing with me. I'm up here talking all this stuff that I ain't cussed, they ain't had a cuss word, I ain't saying that cuss word yet. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that I cannot not do that. But then sometimes the atmosphere, not the atmosphere, but sometimes people can get you to the point. Not saying our conversation there, I'm just saying in general. Right. They can get you to the point.
People can take you out of context. You can be taken out of context. But then when you let people take you out of your character, then you're giving them control.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of times when what I see or what I've seen
Mm-hmm.
in churches is pastors have a lot of control over the parishioners.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, Bishop said this and Apostle said that, and Pastor, you know, everything that come out their mouth was what the pastor and the bishop said. So you program, you know, to what he's saying and believing what he's saying. And that's not always true. Okay, let's take it back some years. Look at Jim Jones and all those people that died because they were following his teachings, right? Okay, what's the other one? Harry Krishna, or whatever his name was. All those people they were supposed to be religious folks, Christians and all that stuff, right? So if you are that godly, and that's the problem. They felt like they were God. Mm-hmm. So you took the power of life and death and put it in your hands and killed all those people. Wow. So it's people get programmed so easy because we all want something to believe in.
That's right. But we're not believing in the right things our own self.
You know, there you go. Because like I tell my son, my kids, everything you're looking for is when you look in that mirror, that's everything you're looking for. You can do whatever it is that you need to do. And you know that you're not a God of a supreme being, but one with a supreme being, but one with force and power. Mm-hmm. Because everything comes through the melanated man and woman.
That's it. That's it by you.
By you. So you have the power to do anything and everything that you want to do. So don't let anybody control you into saying what you can and cannot do. Don't be programmed by society.
I tell you what, this was a good topic today. We can't discuss all of Boaz out or what people are looking for in a man or in a woman. But just having a general conversation because we want to break down the church hurt. And I think the first part of the church hurt is, like she said, you have to study, you have to understand what you're listening to. That's the main thing with church hurt right there. Mm-hmm. As we're going to try to go ahead and wrap this up, we're going to just go ahead and wrap this up so she can give our giveaways out. And they're going to Miss Kill with Mad Brian.
Where's she at?
There she ready. Hold on. Hello, lady.
Oh my God, y'all.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you guys doing today?
What's wrong with you? Are you driving? Looking. We doing all right. Oh my God. We really can't see this. Hold on. Let me get the changes right now. Hold on. Hold on. All right. We're wrapping up our stuff.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to go back and look at the replay.
Okay, yeah. We discussed the church hurt and we discussed Mr. Boaz. Did you have anything on Mr. Boaz that you wanted to talk about?
I did, and I had all of my notes and everything at the house. Because, of course, I didn't expect to be out this late.
Okay, so what's
I expected to be back and ready and all of that. But anyway,
what you got?
No, what I would do, I'll just add my comments, and that'll just kind of push the live out, more comments and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. Say again, Kim. This ain't the second shot. This. Say again, Kim.
I said what I'll do is I'll just add my comments in. As I'm looking at the video, I'll add my comments in.
Okay.
And that'll just push more of the comments into our video.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, that's how I'll do it.
Okay, well let me ask you this question because you said that the Boaz story took you kind of like a deep back surprise. What kind of deep price understanding did you get? What understanding did you get from the story? Because we were trying to figure out what's the difference between what when women looking for Boaz, what are women really looking for?
You said what are women looking for?
When they say they're looking for their Mr. Boaz, what are they really talking about they're looking for?
Because, he was like a man of stability, right?
Uh-huh.
And, that's what women typically look for. They want a man of stability. So that's what the preacher would preach out to women like, hey, when you look for a man, look for Boaz. You know, a man that's going to take care of you, a man that's going to look after you, and all those things. So that's what we typically go out and look for. However, it wasn't what she, needed. I really don't think Ruth wanted him. I think she was him. And some people might look at it as being like, was she like Naomi? How did Naomi get put into this? Did she like force her in there?
She pimped her and put her in there. She
did
because
what?
See, that's the thing, and I keep saying, because Ruth went to Boaz because of Naomi. Ruth was sent into him by her mother-in-law. So this is something that we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. So, it wasn't that, like me and Tanisha was saying, that we don't think that Ruth would have been looking at Boaz in that way.
Right.
Or vice versa, him looking at her that way. But what happened was, when he went into the fields and saw her, he inquired about her, not for a romantic relationship,
just to make sure that,
but to make sure that she was getting some food and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
He just had a good heart. He was trying to look out for his kinfolks.
Right, looking out for Naomi, because he said, "Well, who was she?"
Yeah.
And when he was told that she came with Naomi, so that made in his mind, oh, she's okay because Naomi's husband was my first cousin, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So Naomi then put her plan into play. Mm-hmm. So that's how Ruth got in with Boaz.
So I guess what I'm saying, when people say you get you a Boaz, were you not thinking of the age part, or you didn't think about that period? You just thought about just being somebody that's going to be a protector.
Right, and a provider, and all those things above.
Because when a preacher preaches it, he never discusses his age.
Right. And
so if you don't go and read it for yourself, you don't know how old Boaz is.
So you didn't know how old, you didn't know the man you didn't know he was older than her like that?
No, I never heard of it that way. I never heard of how old he was. I've heard the story, but it was a very vague story. It was just him on,
They don't talk about his age.
Right.
Or they don't talk about his age, or they don't talk about the part that Naomi plays in to sending Ruth into him. They just talk about Ruth and Boaz and him being a good man. They never, and that's what I'm saying. The whole meat and the gist of the story is taken out. How did they even get to where Boaz was?
Yeah. And I guess what we was breaking down was that sometimes we go after what people saying, but not knowing the reason why, knowing the whole story of it. Mm-hmm. And that's what we was breaking down based on the story. Of course, every woman wants a Boaz or a man to have a spirit of Boaz. A man, has that spirit that's going to provide. Mm-hmm. But do you actually want a Boaz?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Do you want the man Boaz? He was old. Exactly. I mean, but how would you feel dating an older man? I know your husband is older than you are. How would you feel like dating a man, 35, 40 years older than you?
Way older than that, probably.
Right. I feel like it's a setup. Nobody knows when anybody is going to go. You know what I'm saying? You could very well go before that person leaves, but it's really a setup, if you ask me.
And that's what I said. Exactly. And how many men get set up that way right now?
That's right.
Right.
That's why I said, I don't know if we taking Boaz side or whose side today, but you got to look at it that way too. You're right. A lot of men do get set up because, they too old for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And she's young. So her mindset is not as, what am I going to say?
She ain't mature enough.
She ain't even mature enough, right? So she ain't even thinking on the same level as Naomi.
So
and that's like, right. So anybody you get these women, these young girls' mothers, who is not as seasoned as the mother, right? Mm-hmm. Who's probably single because she never been married or widowed, and she sees an opportunity. So she's got to put her daughter out there to seize the opportunity for both of them. Mm-hmm. And that happens right now in modern times. And the first thing she tells them to go on and give him some, get knocked up, and and then the conversation comes, you got to marry.
Right.
Her tricking me to make him feel like, okay, he obligated.
Right, because 18, 19, 20-year-old, they ain't even thinking about stability like that. They trying to have a good time.
That's what they ain't thinking about that.
They not thinking like their mother would be thinking. Mm-hmm. So you send your daughter out here to get y'all pot of gold. You know what I'm saying? He had land and stability, and so you send your daughter out here to get this man. First thing, and what happened? Even though he died when she slept with him, what happened? She ended up getting pregnant. Mm-hmm. So what I said, Kia, was this: what if he had not have died? Why didn't he marry Naomi? Why didn't he marry Naomi? Because that was her husband's first cousin. So it made more sense.
They was more close kin, and they were more close in age than him and Ruth were.
Uh-huh.
If he was not older than Naomi, you know what I'm saying?
The foolery. The foolery that's straight in the Bible. Oh, Lord. I'm telling you.
Wow. So it is. Go ahead.
Oh,
what did you say? You said something else?
I don't speak too much on it because I might lose a couple of people that might.
Well, I probably already have.
What'd you say, Tanya, girl?
I probably already have.
Yeah, I might lose a couple of people that like me because it's foolishness. It don't sound right, do it?
Like I told Tanisha earlier, Christianity and religion are made man concepts. Mm-hmm. So when you look at the Bible, and I'm gonna say it like this: I don't subscribe to Christianity anymore. I'm gonna put it like that, right? And the reason why is because, when you go back and you look at the time period of the Bible and other things that predates the Bible, mm-hmm. What is the truth? Yeah. And a lot of books have been left out of the Bible. And why? So like I told Tanisha a few minutes ago, that if the lion don't write his own history, then the story gonna glorify the hunter. Mm-hmm. So whoever writes the book is gonna be glorified in his way, right? Because who really wrote the Bible? And like I said to Kia, and you got to look at the thing, because I don't want to keep repeating the same thing, is that when you look at the end of the book of Ruth, right? What was Ruth's baby name? Obed, right? And that came Obed begat this one begat, which was David, and going down to Jesus, right? So what this story does was introduces Jesus' genealogy. Mm-hmm. So it gets deep.
It does. And like you were saying, okay, that where was love in this whole book anyway? Nobody said nothing about love. And then another thing came up. I heard another girl say, you don't marry because of love. You don't date nobody because of love. And marriage is like a business.
Right. You do it to multiply wealth. And right? Isn't that what they said? That's what I heard.
That's what I heard too.
You marry to multiply a family of wealth and generational wealth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, nobody married for love anymore. It wasn't intended to do that. That wasn't the intention. Put it like that.
And so was that biblically? That wasn't the intention? Because in the Bible, when people get married, you don't see that about love, right?
No.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's based on contract.
Oh God!
Everything that is about business got a contract, right?
Right. So look at the story of Jacob. Look at the story of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel.
Oh yeah, that was a contract.
Come on now. Let's make it plain.
And I'm gonna stop right there. I ain't preaching nobody, because
come on, sis.
even because this is why I don't. This is not the only reason, but look at that story. So and like I said, it talks about the love of Jesus, but it doesn't talk about people marrying for love, or they did this for love, or anything. Everything was about contracts and like she said, wealth and stuff like that. So when did we start loving? And I can tell you where love came in. We ain't gonna get in this. So, um, you just gotta be careful what you subscribe to, because like I said, who controls the media controls the mind.
That's
And when you're talking about preachers and pastors, they're gonna give you what they want you to have to make you believe what they want you to believe. And if you don't study for yourself, you will be programmed to believe just that.
Kim, I think we got us another topic coming up here. That's a love as a contract. I mean, marriage and contract, no love involved. Like, good Lord. You mean, but it's a lot. It's a lot. We had got into the church hurt and we was talking about different things. Like I got pregnant, with my son, and how the church hurt had came in about too. And just tying this Boaz in with church hurt, because sometimes as Ruth, by her being a young of a person, she could have been hurt because she didn't fully understand everything was going on.
So why did she get a baby to Naomi?
That's what I'm saying. She
Right.
probably
But
didn't understand what was going on.
She didn't understand.
Right.
And that be some things that can be taken out and nobody.
Because why was she so
Gullible.
hell bent on going with Naomi? The other girl said, "Dude, now they both young. You know what I'm saying? You can get a man." So why was you so? I feel like Naomi was controlling the thing from the beginning. You know. So why the other girl? She's like, "Well, you can go." So was that just a Was she just saying that? Or did she really mean that? You understand what I'm saying? Because if you know the mindset of people, you already know who's gonna stay and who's gonna go. That's like friendships, relationships. You already know who's stay and who's gonna go. Mm-hmm. So if they're both young and have been married to these boys, so why did she be like, well, what she know? I don't know. I ain't staying with this old lady. I'm going, I'm going over here. So what did she know, or what did Naomi have? How was Naomi controlling that situation from the start?
Yeah.
And she very well could have been.
You're right. She could have been controlling it from the start. She could have. But at the same time, like we said, we just don't know, because there's so much in there just 4 chapters. Mm-hmm. So I guess people just put together what they think.
Anything they put it together, how they wanted to read, how they wanted to play out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like pastors, they preach and they give you this little excerpt of a scripture.
But they don't tell you all the rest
They preach an hour and a half on this one scripture. So what are they doing? Mm-hmm. They ain't telling you, well, you need to go home and you read this. Even in Bible study, you don't. It's very seldom they might tackle a whole chapter and really break stuff down to the understanding of the people. And that's another thing. You have to meet people where they at. So if they not on a level of understanding or on a level of going to study for themselves, then shouldn't that be part of the pastor's job?
That's what, and that's what I said about the thing that we're doing here is we want to make sure that. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I had lost signal.
That's okay, and that's why it's important when we start talking about certain things like this. I just said just reference that, just read it. You know what I'm saying? Just read it. We're not saying we're not antagonizing anybody or anything, but just read it. This is just what our take is on it. Everybody's gonna have a different take on different things, but if you read it, you can see what it is, and then we come and talk about certain things. Okay, but I didn't understand. I got a different perspective on this, or you said it's okay. I don't think this sounds right, or whatever. Everybody can bring their own, negative.
And it's like looking at it from all sides of the aisle.
That's it.
And everybody's perspective on it, just like the preacher gives his perspective that he wants you to believe. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't make it true, right, and exact.
That's exactly right.
That's the thing. So
exactly right.
And if you, like I said, if you're subscribing to the Bible has all of these rules and scriptures to tell you not to judge people, study to show thyself approved, judge not, let there be judged first. But these are the very things that they're doing to the people in the church, which makes people not want to come to the church.
And the people not really paying attention to it, paying attention to it like that anyway. Can you have anything on church you want to conclude?
Did you guys hit on the letter?
No, we didn't. We didn't. All we talked about was just the pregnancy at church, young girls getting pregnant at church, but we didn't hit on the letter at all.
Oh, and people being judged and everything, and why people just refuse to go to church. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I caught the end of it because I had lost signal. I'm going in and out.
She was talking
I
about
guess the area that I'm going through.
the judging
Oh
part.
yeah, we did. We just talked about the judging. We didn't really get into the letter, you know what I'm saying? But we did say that sometimes when things go on in church, it's not like we're talking about somebody or we're trying to put them down and trying to judge them, but we just trying to understand what's going on because it's nothing new under the sun. Everybody done something. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a point of the matter of like Tanya said, is you have to be careful who you listening to because when you get in those traps and stuff like that, you will know how to position yourself. Everybody failed. Everybody done something. So just because you get snagged up in something, don't mean it's the end of the world. That's just it's just
Right.
And not to put the pastor any higher than anybody else because that's his job is being a pastor. That's not who he is. He's still a man and a human being.
That's right.
So a lot of times people
Absolutely.
put pastors and the bishops and apostles and all these other titles, and they make this that person. That's not who that person. That's their job.
That's right.
Because they're still human outside of them doing that job.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to be careful and not to get caught up in those snags and those traps, and to understand for yourself and not just take the word of other people for face value.
You can't do that. You know, because everybody's perspective on something is going to be a little bit different. Just because I take this way, don't mean you're going to take it that way because it's not you, it's me. It's not you facing this, it's me facing this. So what you would do would be a whole lot different because your support system may be different. You know, your mentality, your background may be different. You know, everybody
Absolutely.
takes something in a different way.
Right.
You know, so that's what I look at on that part.
Right, exactly.
So that's what I check out from that. Miss Kid, you got anything else?
No, I totally agree. Everybody's perception of things are different. So, and it's so many levels, different levels of church hurt, from people to the content being delivered wrong. I mean, everything, you know. So putting the pastor and anybody that's working any kind of clergy on a pedestal, and then you seeing them make mistakes, and then you become hurt behind it. So anything, and then that hurts you because you put so much trust into them. So it's so many levels to church hurt that and it makes people just give up. It makes them not even want to come into the building. But that's why it's so important for people to develop a relationship with God themselves, so that going to the church is not like the main thing. Like you feel like the only way that you can have a relationship with God is to go to church. So you develop your relationship with God. So it's not even about going to the church. People go to church so that they can fellowship.
Exactly.
And I'm not so much of a people's person. So I don't feel like I have to be in church. I don't feel like I have to, you know, be a part of that lifestyle in order for my relationship with God to flourish. You understand what I'm saying? So yes. Kia. Yes. Um, sorry, y'all. For my relationship with God to flourish now, do I need that extra push? Yeah, maybe sometimes, but I can I can listen to a song here and there, or I can listen to a pastor on TV. I don't have to see his lifestyle. I don't have to see who he hang out with, where he goes, or whatever. I don't, but it is what it is because I understand the different levels of church hurt, you know, just to protect my own mental health. You understand what I'm saying? Because,
Yeah.
woo, but that's my take on it. And I think from reading the letter that was sent to us, that girl is experiencing, which she just poured out a portion of some stuff, but she's experiencing some other things I take. And I don't know, like we wasn't given like the whole background of everything that was going on in that relationship, but just to have people in the church in your relationship, I mean, that's too much. I think I would never really date a preacher kid anyway. I don't think so.
But which goes back to judging. So what
Yeah,
gave the pastor's wife the right to judge?
right.
Because again, you're subscribing to the Bible. Let's keep it real. You are subscribing to the Bible. Y'all live totally by the word of God and all of that, right? So why are you judging this girl? Why is she so bad that you're judging her for dating your son?
Right.
So would you have been more happy? I mean, and I think sometimes people do it a lot. It's not even just church, but church people do a lot of judging. They want to put you in hell. You're going to hell. Scare tactics. Because let's keep it a buck. Hell, what is hell and heaven? So why you gotta die to go to hell or heaven? The hell,
Right.
your higher self is your heaven,
Mm-hmm.
right? And your lower self, is your you can create your own hell here on earth.
Okay.
And it has been
Right.
created for the melanated person. Let's be real. So when you and see, and I think how she got caught up in the church hurt her, but she got caught up because she looked at those people as a certain way, as more than what they were. So when the first lady did her the way she did or said those things about her, it hurt her at another level that she wasn't expecting, because she wasn't expecting, even though they were keeping it a secret, she wasn't expecting her to react that way, because
Right.
she's the first lady. You're
Right.
supposed to love and understand everybody. So you
Mm-hmm.
were looking for something that wasn't there from the beginning with. So what she did was, the lady, okay, now she acting outside of the first lady role, right? Because again, these are titles that's given.
Yep.
That don't make you not human.
Yep.
Yep. And I just you know, I was just flabbergasted about how that whole thing about her standing up in front of the church to make it known how special her son was, and
Mm-hmm.
how the girl was just not up to par to date her son. And it made us look at, well, why is the girl so bad? Why is he so good? Why is the family? And yeah, if you're in the church and you have this family has a reputation and you want to protect it, and you don't want any and everybody just coming in your family, but that's anybody's family. I don't want my daughter just dating any and everybody either.
Yeah.
That's anybody. You understand what I'm
But
saying? We all raise our kids, and when they start dating, let me see who this boy is. Let me see who this girl is. Who's their parents? Who their people? You understand what I'm saying? But
But
for
you
you,
but you can't choose who a person. You can't choose who a
right?
person love, and you also have to give them the room to make mistakes and grow. That's
Exactly.
grow, right? So let's put another spin on it. So you got him standing up in front of the church talking about how special he is, and he could be a little bit more special than you think, because maybe a girl ain't what he wants.
But that's when your kids turn around and show you something different, when
That
you
you right.
start doing
That's
things
what I'm
like
saying.
that.
That's what I'm saying. So you were sitting there down in this girl, making her feel bad and worse. Okay, this is somebody she care about, and then you making a spectacle of her, right?
Mhm.
And putting your son on this special like pedestal, like he's so special, and he this and he that. So what if he turn around and bring? And I'm just saying how, and I'm not homophobic whatsoever. You love who you love, but I'm just saying these church folk. When you talk about church hurt,
Mhm.
so what happens if if Billy come and bring Bob home?
Right. That's what's gonna happen. They
And
they gonna
every
show their tail to you.
and guess what? Everybody in the church know but you, and you standing there making a fool of yourself.
That's what I'm telling you. They flip the whole table over. They shake the
Right?
table on you.
Right?
They turn around and shake the table on you, because you have humiliated. She has humiliated her son, and what she thinks she has done was protected him in front of the church, when you could have handled that at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said they was in their early 30s. This is a grown man, whether he lives with you or not.
So
that's
what?
right.
Oh. So I ain't know that part, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
what's the truth then? Because we missing some pieces out of that.
Yeah, and I didn't want to keep poking at her, and I know she's probably going to look at this live, so I'm
I'm
still
gonna
trying
say,
to
hey,
respect
mommy.
her story. I'm still trying to respect her story, but this is the information that she did give to us, so we can openly talk about it. But they
Right.
are in their early 30s, and so you done still disrespected this man as your son. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You done exposed. You could talk to me, Mom. You could have pulled me aside, Mother, and told
Mhm.
me this.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
So, as leaders of the church, when do you draw the line? When do you say, "Hold on, enough is enough. You
But
can't do this."
check this out. And I'm saying this, and I'm gonna delete some parts of this when it comes to the church, right? Why is the wife running her mouth when you ain't the pastor? See, that's these pastors need to get these first ladies in check.
Check them.
You need to get your first lady in check. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, and I have seen this firsthand, these first ladies wreak a whole lot of havoc and hell in the church.
This is sparkling grape juice.
Who said? See, I can't see no comments. I cannot see the comments.
So
let me see, can we help you with these comments? Y'all know I got no glasses on. Let me
I'm
see
gonna
what
have
I
to
can
go
do.
back and look at them. That's okay. That's okay. I'll
Hold
go
on,
back.
you got two of them there. You got some, you got.
Devon Cooper said, we as parents should never put our children on a pedestal because we can't and don't be with our children at times. I agree. Your children
How
are
many times
not
she say something? She said, okay. Who said that?
Devon Cooper because
Okay.
your children are not who you want them to be. They children.
Mm-hmm.
And they not gonna do with you what they gonna do without you.
That's right.
So you gotta be careful.
And then done here. Come on. Bucci said, I have a crazy experience dealing with a church hurt. But all of us got some crazy experience. All of us been dealing with a church hurt before. So it can be like that. Kid, you got knocked off. Okay, you on.
And like she said, and she also said, it may be things that the mother don't know about her son that could change her view of her son. Exactly. So are you gonna stop loving your son because of who he chooses to love?
Right.
So you
But
get
you
back
know
in.
what he?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Go
You
ahead.
know
Go
what
ahead.
he gonna do next time? He gonna get him another girl, and she not gonna know 2 cents about it.
You know what's gonna happen? He gonna get another girl, and she gonna wild him out. She gonna
That's what kids say. The mom ain't gonna know about it.
And she ain't gonna be able to control it. She gonna turn him out. And mom ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it. See, that's the thing. You have to allow your children to grow and make them the same way we did.
That's right.
You know, you talked about your experiences 18, mine at 18. You know, you have to let your children grow and learn to experience love and hurt on their own without you getting involved. Because like he said, we all want our children to marry or date somebody decent.
That's right.
Right.
We do.
But it ain't always gonna happen. You know, we gonna get some frogs in the process.
Yeah. But if you don't let them make their own mistakes and you trying to pick up every little crumb that they drop, you gonna be the one. You gonna be the one out here looking crazy.
And if you have talked to them and gave them the do's and don'ts,
that's all you can do.
That's all you can do. And they're gonna still do their own thing, their own way. So the only thing you can be there is to be there for support and encouragement, you know, and when it fails, which oftentimes do, you know, just help them, be there for them because we all been there.
That's right.
That's
You know,
right.
all of our hearts have been broken. We thought we gonna never make it through, you know, but that's something that they gotta go through. And as parents, it's our job to support them and encourage them along their journey.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. Wow. But I tell you what, this church hurt, like you said, this ain't gonna be the last one that we do on this church hurt. Because a lot of people have different types of church hurt, but we just have to learn how to be able to talk through it. And you know what? Yes, that did hurt me. You know, sometimes we're looking for people to give us an apology. Okay, well, she should apologize. He should apologize. Well, then what if the people don't apologize?
And a whole lot that happens because you need to be okay with an apology that you never get.
That's right.
Exactly.
I mean,
you done said that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to move on. And running from church to church to church to church is not going to help because there's drama everywhere.
It is.
You know?
Look, now that's a whole nother show in itself. Church hopping. Church hopping, girl. Yeah. What makes them do it, child?
Yeah. But
That's
like you
why I
said,
just hopped myself on right on that couch.
my goodness.
Hello. Look.
Hello, girl.
Look,
Look, we can have
Facebook.
Bible study together.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
church hop on Facebook.
Yeah.
I ain't
Yeah.
going to church today.
That's it.
So it, all those things are important, very important. So we just gotta make sure that you understand stuff for yourself and not just wait to be told what to do.
I know that's right. You cannot. You have to make, like she said, we have to make sure we can address everything that we need to address with ourselves. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is it. But Miss Kia, how you want to wrap up for today?
Well. Okay. We ready.
We have any updates or anything we want to do? Because we always do that. Ask, oh, we forgot. What kind of updates we got? Got any updates coming up other than we're not going to be on tomorrow?
No, we're not going to be on tomorrow. We had another guest, Letitia Brown. What we're going to do is we're going to move her to the first Sunday in June.
Okay.
She was actually supposed to come on tonight, but we just postponed it till the first Sunday in June.
Okay.
And she is also going to be touching bases on the topic of mental health as well, and self-love and self-care and all of those things,
Okay.
because she really she does a lot of, what is that, the NutriCare stuff, with the drinks and all of that stuff. So she is really good with that. So she'll be talking on that. And
Yep.
and we are going to start our debatable, I don't want to say debatable topics, but they are debatable topics. So we just have two guests on at a time, where we kind of have two different point of views. We always just come from one perspective,
That's right.
So we're gonna actually have when we have topics where we have a special guest, we'll have someone else that actually has a counterclaim, we want to call it. We're gonna be working on that. So, and always, if you guys have anything you would like to talk about, anything you want to send us anonymous letters or whatever, you can still continue to do that, because we really enjoy that, especially while we're doing our church chronicles with Miss Tanya. It's starting to be really, really good. So we're gonna do those with her if she's available, because they are really good. So you guys can send in on that.
All right, guys. But there you go. That's in a no.
There you have it.
Yes. But today has been really, really good. The conversation we had on Boaz was good. Just tipping the ice over on that. Like we said, as young women or older women or women in general, not only women but men too, we got to understand what it is that we're looking for. Not just the acronym of the person. But do you want that type of spirit of a person? You want the spirit of Boaz. That's what type of man you want. Or you want your girl to have the spirit of Ruth, but you don't want a Ruth, or you don't want this person. You have to be specific. That's it. Specific. Specific in what we ask and what we want. I can't get it. They got. What you ask about and what you want. You know what I'm saying? We have to be clear on what it is that we need. And the takeaway I'm getting from this is that, okay, is it for love, or is it for something beyond today? If it's what you're looking for in a relationship right now, is it beyond for today? Because as we understand it now, that is going to be another good topic. Love for a relationship. Is it for a relationship or a contract? What do you want?
Ooh, I like it.
Do you want the contract, or do you want the love? You know what I'm saying? Because when the love is gone, can you keep the contract going?
And with all contracts, it's fine print.
Oh, yes.
Read the fine print, because you bound to me.
You got to read the fine print.
That's where you get caught up in.
I ain't lying, girl. You just sign on everything, you ain't read nothing. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Oh,
yes, you got to read my fine print, honey. You got to read my fine print.
Yeah.
Wow. And that could be something on that, on the touch on Boaz too. You got to read the fine print.
That's right.
He got set up.
Yeah, the contract got to be the fine print. So, like we said, that's some good things that we're gonna get into. Kids say, y'all keep bringing these discussions, and these guys is coming up here. Y'all come on up here, bring this stuff in. You know, let us know what's going on, what y'all talking about, what y'all think we need to talk about. And if you want to come on, like kids said, don't be scared. You know, don't be scared. We out here, we got our face up here. We talking about stuff too.
Yeah.
So, Miss Tanya has some giveaways. We're gonna let her do her giveaways, and then we can let her take us out with our takeaway today.
Giveaways.
Well, we were gonna do a Boaz trivia.
Okay.
But is anybody? I mean, I don't know who's still up there.
Is somebody up here?
And what
I can't see anything, so I don't know.
what I'm giving away today is I make body butter, and it's mango butter. Smell it. You can smell it.
Oh yeah, that smells good.
And if you take it, it
It's
melts.
a butter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
So you
wow,
take
it's
one.
in the little pieces.
Yeah, I make them in like little shapes. Like this is the sun because it's summertime.
Oh,
And
okay.
so you put it on your skin, and it melts right on your skin.
Oh, okay, I like this.
And I make that, and
It's
I
not
make.
really greasy because it goes right in.
And this is the salt scrub that I make. You can smell that.
It smells
Oh,
good.
I love scrubs.
Use
Oh yeah.
and then you put the body butter on afterwards. And this is citrus.
I gotta keep this piece.
Yeah, and this is the sugar scrub. This is strawberry lavender, made with real. I make with everything with real lemon.
Oh gosh.
And
And
this
I
is
love a sugar scrub too.
oh
And
yeah,
a body butter.
and
You got your little thing on
this
top?
is my melanated goddess is my business for
Can y'all see that?
all of my scrubs and soaps and stuff.
This is
That's a sugar scrub
the sugar scrub. What's the flavor?
with that's strawberry lemonade.
Strawberry lemonade. Look at this. Can y'all see that?
Looks like ice cream.
And see, this is her logo. She has on that.
The melanated goddess.
She is the millennia.
The melanated goddess, and that's the
Show 'em
body
this one right
butter.
here. This the body
That's
butter.
mango body butter.
Mango body butter. I'm gonna show you mine that she that we use. See that?
And it melts right on your skin.
It does. See my hands. See my hands.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna have to get me some of that.
Y'all see?
And also I have this is not for a giveaway though, but I also am a TLC consultant, and for all your energy needs, I have NutriBurst and energy capsules. If you want to purchase.
It's a lot of women that's doing this right now, and that's fine. If you
Right,
like
right.
this
That's what it is.
That's
Mhm.
fine. See that? So if you see these again, and you see these women doing this, must be some really good stuff. Because guess what? We see a whole lot of
Because
people doing that.
during the pandemic, my family we took a lot of NutriBurst because you want to keep not only just in the pandemic, but you want to keep your immune system up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we don't get all the nutrients and vitamins that we need in a day, but just a little shot of this, little cap full of this,
Mm-hmm.
you get all of the vitamins. Well, 91 of the 97 of the 101 that you need.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
and then I also had I sold out of sea moss, and my sea moss was sea moss gel. Where you just open the pack and it tasted like coconut because sea moss is
That's
salty.
you get that from NutriBurst too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it takes that salty taste away. So, so you can these are things, but this is what I'm giving away today. And what I will do is, I don't know how Tisha's gonna do it, but I bought. You can do it, Tisha. I don't know how y'all can split this.
Which one?
I bought 3.
Okay.
Y'all can split the body butter
Okay.
and figure out how to
Okay.
to split that. You just set it up and it'll do whatever.
Okay.
But it's 10 of these, and here's y'all can do 5 a piece.
Okay.
And let me know what y'all think.
So how we gonna do this thing?
So who's still watching?
I don't even know how to see on the side who's watching that, but what you can do is give them the thing, and then but they can just ask a question Or
say
in the comments or something.
Put in the comments, does anybody know what Naomi's name was? Because she changed her name when she was going back and forth from home. Does anybody know what her name was? And you can put it in the comments.
Oh, what her name was.
She changed her name and she went back and they said, don't call me Naomi no more, but call me this because I have been dealt with bitterly.
Right.
So what did they say her name was? What did she change her name to? You put in the comments. And then some of these Facebook so slow sometimes. By the time you get it, we be off of real said you'll see like 10 minutes later.
No, not Jezebel. We can talk about her too. Just not right
She
now.
changed her name to Jezebel Kill.
And it could have been the way she was acting out there. Okay.
Okay, you know what? If we don't get an answer right now, just if they just ask them, do they go back and do the thing? You can put it in
Or
there.
and another, because we're giving away 3 things. So another question is, what was Naomi's sons? She had 2 sons.
Yes.
What were their names?
Okay, so I'm gonna put that on the chat too. Okay. So the 2 questions, 2 or 3.
This will be 3.
The 3 questions that we want y'all to answer for us is this: when Naomi came back to her old town, she changed her name from Naomi to another name. We want to know, what did Naomi change her name to? And you can find this. I'm not going to tell you what chapter to find it is, but when you get close to it, it was said, no longer call me Naomi. I went out for and I'm coming back empty. So what did she say her name, she changed her name to? And the second question is, she had 2 sons. And these were some nice names. I'm going to look these names up too.
But don't do it because they were not, because I said that too. They were nice names, but what they meant were
That's
not
what
nice.
I said. I'm gonna look them up. Yeah. You gotta look up these names. The names of her 2 sons, but not mean that names, but what were her 2 sons' names? And they were some nice names. I mean, you're like, ooh, your name is what? Yeah.
Okay, Kadaria Holland got it. Milan and Chilion. That is correct.
Okay.
So
yeah, take 2 back.
I can take that one.
Okay.
Okay, so the next question is, what was Naomi's husband's name?
Okay. What was Naomi's husband name? She won't murder one time.
Right.
What was his name? She won't murder one time. I don't know how long they say murder. She had a good one. She said, we're going back home. The men got something for me. Oh, no, the joke we were saying too, when Boaz had to meet the elders, right? And they got around and they said, okay, well, we're going to see who else is the next of kin that want to buy the field, and they got to purchase Ruth and Naomi.
Right.
Them old jokers probably said, you knew them women we don't live alone with these women. She already didn't kill her husband and 2 men.
Kadaria is on what? Elimelech. Right. Elimelech. That was her husband's name. All right. You got it.
So we got that one. So we just waiting on somebody to answer this one.
Right. What was her name? What did she change her name to?
The way
And she gave you a hint when she said, don't call me Naomi anymore because I've been dealt with bitterly.
What are
So
you
there
doing?
is.
How you going to drive the ambulance and not know how to drive?
That's the key.
The ambulance.
Okay.
I can't answer. Well, what we do, we'll keep it. You want to keep it? We'll keep it. I'm going to keep it. Somebody got that answer? Let us know. We're going to make sure you get your scrub.
Yeah.
Let me finish telling the story. So the guys, they're all sitting around at the gate, and then I made a joke out of it. Just made a joke. I said, man, we don't want that girl. She got more act too. Yeah. Them jokers gonna kill you. The girl 20 years old, all this about 75. That girl gonna kill us with a heart attack.
And already killed Naomi, Ruth already lost her husband. I mean, Naomi already lost her husband.
All of them lost their husband.
All that lost their husband. We keep messing with them women. So they say, you know what, Boaz? You can have.
Yeah.
And guess what? Boaz took that girl as his wife. There's a story of went.
He went too after
He slept with that girl. Boaz died. They said Boaz died the next day. But that's a query too that people said that Boaz really died the next day after he married Ruth.
The next day. Woo.
And that's the thing that nobody can answer because they never said how long he lived after that.
Because it jumps right to the baby.
It just jumps right to the baby, and it jumps after the end. That was the end of the story. Start naming
The genealogy.
The genealogy.
Mm-hmm.
So when we looked at the commentary, it says that it's assumed or probably recommended that Boaz had died after he had conceived the baby by Ruth.
But did he?
But did he? So that's why my whole thing in the conclusion is look these names up when we saying that we want something just like somebody else. Do you really want?
Because Boaz's name meant loyalty and love.
It does.
And going back to Naomi's son's name, that meant sickly and failing.
Oh,
so even though they were pretty names,
God.
sickly and failing.
Uh-huh.
So you got to be careful what you name your children too.
That's it. She went from sickness to failing to loyalty and love.
Mm-hmm.
So we can take anything good out of that. Boaz was a good man. He had a good qualities in what he's doing. But we just have to understand what it is that we're reading. Don't take it just because somebody told you. Take it and see, because then like the pastor has said, are you a woman that can handle Boaz? Are you ready for that? Right. You know what I'm saying?
And that goes with the contract as you read the fine print, because you didn't know what you was getting when you got Boaz.
You know, and some of us ain't qualified for Boaz anyway. We want a loyal man, but we raggedy as hell ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Not raggedy.
I'm just saying. Hey.
A whole raggedy ass, but one of Boaz.
I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Like Tony said, some of these women mess up these good men, putting these people in positions that they know they shouldn't be in.
Right.
You know your daughter ain't nothing. You know she ain't nothing. So you can go put on a good man just to secure her future.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And
then when he wake up and leave, well, now everybody mad at the man.
Mm-hmm.
And then you gotta look at it too. If you want an older man, can you sustain being with an older man?
And what that might come along with that.
Yeah, but all the stuff that comes along with it. That's the fine print that we're gonna talk about one day, y'all.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you got any closing remarks for any man that we close this out this time?
If you subscribe to Christianity in the Bible, just study to show thyself approved, like it says in 2 Timothy.
Oh, that's right. Miss Kid, the traffic doing all right out there?
The traffic is good right now. Earlier it was a mess, but now it's good.
Okay. So Kia is traveling, so her thing would be y'all be safe out there, the police out there. This is a holiday weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody enjoy their holiday weekend. If you have high school graduations that's going on and college graduations, I think it's probably over. But if it is, no, it's not. If y'all graduating, congratulations. You know, be safe. Watch them women and men out there when you ready to go to school, because they waiting for you. They ready for the trip you up. Yeah. And some of them are not ready. Just be careful and be mindful of what you're doing. Yeah. With all that being said, we thank y'all so much for joining us today. And I hope if you didn't get all of this, you got some of it and that you enjoyed it. Study to show yourself approved. Good night. Happy holiday.
Happy holiday. Be safe.